you know a wave of molasses once destroyed part of Boston? And not slowly, fast. On January 15th, 1919, a giant storage tank in the North End buckled and split open. 2.3 million gallons of molasses hit the streets at 35 miles per hour. The wave was 25 feet tall. Buildings got knocked off their foundations. An elevated rail support collapsed. People and horses were swept off their feet and couldn't get back up. 21 people died. 150 more were injured. Here's the part people don't expect. The company that owned the tank had been ignoring warning signs for years. Residents said the tank leaked so badly they used to collect the drips to bring home. And after the disaster, the victims actually won. It became one of the first major corporate liability cases in American history. The company paid out the equivalent of millions of dollars in today's money. There are photographs, real ones. A neighborhood buried in brown sludge. It sounds like a joke. It absolutely was not. In Indonesia in 1815, you've probably never heard of it, but there's a decent chance it created two of the most famous monsters in history. The eruption was so massive it threw enough ash and debris into the atmosphere to actually block sunlight. Temperatures dropped across the entire northern hemisphere. The following year, 1816, became known as the year without a summer. Crops failed. Snow fell in June. People had no idea why. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, a group of writers got stuck inside all summer because the weather was so relentlessly awful. To kill time, they held a ghost story contest. One of them was 18-year-old Mary Shelley. She wrote Frankenstein. Another was Lord Byron's doctor, John Polidori. He wrote a short story called The Vampire, which basically invented the modern vampire as we know it. Both monsters. One contest. One ruined summer. One volcano on the other side of the planet. Mount Tambora never meant to change horror forever. It just did. Walked into Parliament, pulled a shriveled human ear out of a box, and basically said, "Look what they did to me," and it started a war. His name was Robert Jenkins. Back in 1731, Spanish sailors boarded his ship in the Caribbean, accused him of smuggling, and allegedly sliced off his ear. Jenkins kept him in a jar for 7 years. Then in 1739, with tensions already rising between Britain and Spain, he brought it to Parliament as evidence. The ear made the rounds. Members of Parliament were furious. The public was furious. And within months, Britain officially declared war on Spain. They called it the War of Jenkins' Ear. That is the actual name. It's in the history books. It eventually folded into a much larger European conflict and dragged on for nearly a decade, reshaping territorial control across the Americas. A man preserved his own ear in a jar, waited for the right moment, weaponized it, and it worked. Genuinely, completely worked. A British sea captain once walked into Parliament, pulled a shriveled human ear out of a box, and basically Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS was basically invented by a Hollywood actress in 1942. Her name was Hedy Lamarr, and at the time, she was one of the most famous women on the planet. Magazine covers, sold-out theaters, the whole thing. People called her the most beautiful woman in the world. What nobody knew was that she was also quietly working on a spread-spectrum radio system designed to stop the Nazis from jamming torpedo signals. She co-invented it with a composer named George Antheil, filed the patent, and handed it to the US Navy. The Navy said no thanks and put it in a drawer. The patent sat there for years. It expired in 1959. And then, decades later, the entire wireless communications industry was built almost directly on her foundational idea. By then, nobody owed her a single thing. No credit, no money, nothing. She finally got a technical award in 1997. She was 82 years old. The most famous thing about her was her face. The most important thing about her was her brain. The world only ever noticed one of them. Did you know the technology behind Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, dollars turning a cat into a spy? And I need you to understand that is a completely real sentence. It was the 1960s, Cold War paranoia was at its peak, and someone at the CIA pitched this idea with a straight face. They called it Operation Acoustic Kitty. The plan was to surgically implant a microphone, transmitter, and a battery inside a living cat, then send it to sit near Soviet officials and record their conversations. The surgery took an hour. The training took years. $20 million gone. Then came the first field test. They drove the cat to a park near the Soviet embassy in Washington, opened the car door, and pointed it toward the target. The cat walked into traffic and got hit by a taxi. Mission over. Immediately. On the first attempt. The CIA officially shut the program down and noted in the declassified report that cats are, quote, not practical for field operations. $20 million to learn something every cat owner already knew for free.